Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering The Ghastly Ghost Town, which is the first episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies, and it originally aired on September 9th, 1972. This series saw the gang in a 1-hour television block where they'd have adventures with a celebrity, and with commercials, you know, it's like 45 minutes and such. I recently bought the Blu-ray a few months ago, and it's a pretty cool set. It collects 23 out of the 24 episodes. They're missing one because there's some legal rights with the Addams family, so they did not include it. So you get most of the episodes. It's spread across 2 discs, and here's what they look like. I'll open it up. So yeah, 2 discs, and there's not much else to this. It's kind of flimsily packaged, which I've noticed with a lot of new Blu-rays. I remember DVDs in the past. Everything would be like colorful and such. This little bracket came off when I opened it up recently. I didn't even touch it. It just came off. So yeah, really cheap. It's falling apart. No color to the discs. No real special features. You get no booklets or anything, but you get a little insert just telling you what disc has which episode. So I don't want to, complain too much about this. Yeah, there are a couple of special features, but they're all kind of like just surface level, just kind of nonsensey kind of things. Nothing that provides true value to the history, to the episode. I think it deserves better. You probably do too. I think a lot of people do, but at the end of the day, this is targeted towards kids, and at least we have all the episodes on here. And I don't want to complain too much. I am happy to have it on here. It was a little pricey. It cost me about 50 Canadian dollars, so about 40 American dollars, but whatever. They look great. It's on Blu-ray. I'm happy. Anyway, this episode that we're reviewing today, it stars the Three Stooges, but they're not voiced by the men who played them, as they had retired by then. The Three Stooges, if you don't know, they are an American Vaudeville comedy act that ran from the 30s to the 70s, and the core Stooges were Larry, Curly, and Moe, and they were really popular due to their physical comedy and just shenanigans. Really funny stuff. I love the old Three Stooges shorts and movies.
Where's that dumb shark that looks like me?
A fun fact about this episode, one of the characters, not the Stooges, but the Stooges manager in this episode, is voiced by Ted Knight, who is brilliant on the Mary Tyler Moore Show for his comedy on that. And my favorite role of his would be the judge in Caddyshack. If you haven't seen Caddyshack, it's a good, fun 70s movie that you should check out. It's about caddies at a golf course, and it's lots of fun shenanigans.
Do you know what golfers can do to a golf course?
I was never really a big fan of the series because I'd start with this episode and I just couldn't get through it. That was about 20 years ago when I tried once more to get through it, so I'm trying again now. And will this episode change my mind? Will I finally start enjoying it? Let's find out. The episode begins with the gang getting lost near a ghost town during the night as a thunderstorm occurs. On the road, they see a sign that says monsters ahead, which scares the heck out of Scooby. In between lightning bolts, Shaggy claims to see some strange animals such as an alligator, a camel, and an ape.
Boy, are we ever lost!
I think we took the wrong turn.
Hey, look! I just saw a mirage! An alligator, see that? A camel! And a neurotic orangutan!
This is really weird.
Velma explains that they are lost and the monsters ahead are probably just a tiny lizard, as this is just typically a gimmick for amusement parks.
The monster always turns out to be an eensy-teensy 6-inch harmless lizard.
On the road, they see a giant bat driving at them, which causes Freddy to crash the mystery machine. He crashes it into a sand dune where they get stuck, and they need to walk towards the ghost town as they are unable to push it out. The gang then spot a dinosaur, an alligator, a camel, and an ape before they meet up with the Three Stooges, who run after and capture the ape. The dinosaur is just a plaster monster that roars and it's mechanical and such. However, the other animals are real, and the Stooges promise to help get the mystery machine unstuck if the gang help them catch the animals.
There should be some help down the road. Oh my gosh! I think it's the Three Stooges! Hey! Aren't you Larry, Moe, and Curly Joe? Three Stooges Ghost Town.
An amusement park. Mine ride.
Our van is stuck in the sand.
We'll get you out. As soon as we get the animals back into Ghost Town.
At the Three Stooges amusement park, the Three Stooges complain that someone lets the animals loose every night. Velma blames the giant bat they saw earlier, and the Stooges then go on to explain that lots of other weird things are happening.
We bought this place 2 months ago. We were doing fine until all these things started to happen.
And the sheriff has made them close down the amusement park. If they don't resolve these issues within 2 more months, they're going to have to shut the amusement park down for good. What makes matters even worse is that the dinosaur outside keeps growling really loud, which is annoying and wakes the Stooges up at night, and it also shakes the old building, and this causes things like chandeliers to fall and windows to shatter. Unfortunately, the Stooges have no idea how to turn off the growls. The caretaker named Rhino shows up, and the Three Stooges find him suspicious.
Who's he, Mo?
That's Rhino. He works for us.
He's okay. He's our caretaker.
Yeah, he caretakes the aminals.
He's been acting kind of suspicious lately.
Then why don't you fire him?
At the dinosaur exhibit, the gang inspect the T-Rex to see if they can turn it off, and the dinosaur again starts to growl. Freddy knocks on it and finds it hollow, but they can't get in until Scooby accidentally finds the secret passage. At the same time, the gang are accosted by a man who claims they are trespassing.
You're trespassing on my property. Trespassers, huh?
Strange man who now identifies himself as the Three Stooges manager
I'm Amos Crunch, the Stooges manager.
lets them go into the dinosaur, where they discover lots of mechanical gears and pulleys and a tape recorder, so they are finally able to stop the dinosaur's growls. The man also says his name is Amos Crunch. With the animals caught, the gang are almost ready to leave, but Freddy wants to find out what that giant bat is. Velma also mysteriously vanishes, and later on we discover that Velma has gone off to follow Amos Crunch as she finds him suspicious.
Well, somebody's dingy around here, and I don't think it's the dingbat. That's a neat disappearing act. I must have fallen into the old mine.
Hold it. We've got a bigger problem. Velma's disappeared.
Come on, spread out. Let's find her.
While she's on his tail, he pulls a secret passage switch that makes her fall through a trap door. Searching for Velma, the Stooges go one way, Shaggy and Scooby go another way, and Daphne and Freddy head out into the desert to search for Velma. Lots of haunted but comical gags occur in the ghost town, and we get lots of cool exhibits like the Cowboy Museum, a House of Mirrors, a minecart ride, and the Last Chance Saloon as the gang and the Stooges search for Velma. Also, the Stooges run into a man dressed up as a dime store Indian, and Scooby and Shaggy run into a mechanical gunslinger, and these are our two main villains for the rest of the episode.
Draw! Get out of town. This is your first and last warning.
In the desert, Daphne and Freddy are stalked by a moving but thirsty cactus.
Velma, where are you? It's as though the desert just swallowed her up. This desert sun sure makes a guy thirsty. Daphne, look! A swimming pool!
Wait, Freddy, don't!
Last one in is a rotten egg! What happened?
It was only a mirage.
Eventually, the Stooges, Freddy, and Daphne end up in the mine where they are trapped, but they also find Velma.
Where are we?
I don't know.
Velma!
Scooby and Shaggy hear them down there and use the mechanical dinosaur to get everyone out by digging them using the T-Rex's mouth. More haunted hijinks occur, and the giant bat car piloted by the Indian and the mechanical gunslinger try to escape. Scooby and Shaggy use the dinosaur to capture it, and they toss the bad guys in the ghost town jail. With the bad guys behind bars, they realize that it's Crunch, the manager, and Rhino, the caretaker.
Darn kids! Yeah, they spoiled everything.
It's Crunch and Rhino!
The whole plot was that in the mine there was uranium, so Crunch and Rhino used the bat truck to sneak the uranium to Mexico for a huge profit. It's illegal to sell uranium in the States, so they had to sneak it across the border and sell it there. In order to work in privacy, they used the dinosaur noises to scare everyone away and also cover up their mining noises. With another mystery solved, the gang head off on their next adventure. The sheriff even lets Shaggy take home a little bag of radioactive uranium. I give this episode a 5 out of 10. This just really wasn't my thing. I just felt there's too much comedy with this, and most of these episodes do feature a lot of comedy, but I didn't find any of the comedy in this that memorable, and the villains, which were the cowboy, mechanical cowboy and the dime store Indian, they weren't that great. They were okay, but not that great. The Three Stooges were just kind of like a shadow of their former selves. They didn't have much to do, and they were just kind of like surface level imitations of the real thing. They kind of stripped away the physical comedy that made the Three Stooges popular. And the Stooges didn't really even interact with the gang. They all kind of went their separate ways throughout most of this episode. And this episode also was a little too busy. There was a lot going on, but it was just clunky. They kind of just moved from set piece to set piece, and everyone had their own kind of like spot they were in. Like Velma was trapped in the mine, and the Stooges were on the minecart ride, and Shaggy and Scooby were, had their hijinks, and Freddie and Daphne were out in the desert. And there was a lot of cool stuff everywhere, but they never focused on anything. Like the giant dinosaur could have been the entire focus of this episode. That mechanical thing, it was super cool, but it only gets a piece of the episode. Or even the mechanical cowboy guy could have been the feature of this, or even the bat truck. But no, they just kind of pop things in and out, and I just felt there was a lot of wasted potential in this episode. Even it takes place in an amusement park, and they had so many exhibits, and they just kind of wasted everything, and it's kind of stuff we've already seen before. I did like the character of Rhino. I liked how he was grumpy and such, and Amos Crunch was cool too. I thought he was cool early on because you see him pull the trap door switch that trapped Velma underneath in the mine, so you kind of knew he was guilty right away. What I really liked though was the stalking cactus. I thought that was clever. So I do give this 5 out of 10, but I didn't love this episode, but I still kind of enjoyed it. If you put this on in the background, it's not so bad to get through, but when you got to pay attention for 45 minutes, it's kind of a drag, and the really good parts kind of brighten up the episode and whatnot. But otherwise, I don't think I'll be returning to this episode anytime soon. There's another Stooge episode coming up, and I've already kind of read that it's even worse than this one. I hope that's not true. I hope it's a little bit better. But yeah, otherwise, not a great start to the season. This was probably the pilot episode too, so maybe they didn't put enough attention and care into it compared to the others. There are other episodes I've seen and I have enjoyed, so I'm still being optimistic about these episodes, and hopefully this is the worst one. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not. I don't want to sit through another kind of mismanaged episode. Anyway, once again, I want to thank you for any likes, views, subscribes, and all of that. I am returned now. It's September now, and we're going to continue through all of this until probably May. I'll take another break, and then I'll start back up again in September of next year. With my reviews, I just want to do something consistent. So next week, join me when I will be covering the Dynamic Scooby Affair, which stars Batman and I think Robin. Anyway, until then, stay spooky.